Today I'm going to be sharing with you 4 times it genuinely makes sense to have an astrology reading, because recently I got an email from somebody with exactly this question, asking me whether it was a good time for them, and I said absolutely yes, because whether it's for you personally or you are a person that is a retreat or workshop holder who wants to bring astrology to a community, then astrology is actually super practical and it can give you guidance and reassurance that is unlike any other therapy. However, what I've learned over the years is that astrology can get obsessive. So you can download an app and start looking at the astrology of every single day and having it dictate or tell you whether it's going to be a good day or a bad day. And that can feel very fatalistic. And actually astrology isn't for that. And it's much better if you use astrology for a clear purpose. And that's what we're going to be looking at today. So recently it was my birthday, and so I did what's called a solar return chart. A solar return chart is a chart for the day of your birthday. So it's a brand new chart, but with the sun in exactly the same place as it was on the day that you were born. And so this solar return chart can show us the energies that will be coming up in the year ahead. It's a fascinating way just to have a bit of an idea of what will be the dominant energies in that year, and even give you some clues about what things that you maybe need to look out for, work on, how you can direct your energy in a more practical, magical way that's aligned with what the stars are saying for you. And of course we do this intuitively anyway, but the solar return chart can really give us direction. So in my solar return chart, I could see that I had the sign of Sagittarius on the ascendant, and Sagittarius is different to my natal ascendant sign, which is Aquarius. It's very different energy. And so the sign of Sagittarius is about exploration. There's a sense of wanting to discover, for meaning, for teaching. And so this very much feels in line with where I want to go with this channel, with my work, with the coaching that I'm offering at the moment. The other way that I interpreted part of my solar return chart was that I had the planet Uranus together with the moon. The planet Uranus is the planet of change. It can be disruption. It can be awakening. And when it's together with the moon, then it can sometimes indicate a house move. And actually me and my husband are planning to move house this year. Nothing's confirmed yet. It might not happen, but it was interesting that that appeared in my solar return chart and could perhaps indicate that actually we will move house this year. So again, it gives us something to think about, something to focus the energy on. And because the moon is in the sign of Gemini, again, it's about keeping my options open. Gemini is very much about exploring the different perspectives, the different opportunities that are available. It feels very exciting to have your solar return chart read. It can really give you some inspiration. And especially if the year before has been a bit drab or it's been a tough year, then looking at your solar return chart can just give you a bit of indication about where those energies are going, how they're going to be flowing over the next 12 months or so. So birthdays are a great time to have a reading. And of course, this could be a gift for somebody else. It doesn't have to be a deep psychological thing with this type of reading. Of course, it can be if you wanted to go into the reading in that way, but it can just be something that gives you an idea of the potential for the year. And it can be a really fun thing to do for your birthday or for somebody else's birthday as well. The other time I think it's a great idea to have a reading is, of course, if you're going through a challenging time. And if you're already working as a therapist, you'll know that most people come to you when they're going through something tough. Some kind of challenging thing emotionally. It could be a psychological shift. It could be that somebody close to them has passed away. But often it's to work through something that feels very overwhelming. And astrology can be an amazingly useful tool for that. And so using the astrological chart in this way, what I do with clients is that I tend to look for patterns, look for repeating stories in the person's life so we can understand what a particular planet means for the client. And then through that, we can understand the energies that they're going through at the moment and more easily guide them and give them the right advice that will support them depending on this planetary's energy and what the evolutionary calling is. Because really all of the planets are on their own evolution. They're all part of the sun's mission, but each of them have their own mission that makes up a part of that greater mission. And through understanding the astrological chart, we can really start to see those different pieces of the puzzle. And it's so helpful for people that are going through difficult times. They can relate their experience now to something that perhaps happened in the past. They can see a development from when the planet was last activated, and this just gives them so much more awareness. And that self-awareness is what allows us to let go of resistance to change, let go of resistance to the difficult situation, allow new ideas to flow, to come through, an acceptance of what's happening. And the loosening of this energy is what allows us to then evolve. We've mastered that planet in a new way. And that's exactly what's being asked of us. And astrology can really help us to see that, what it is that we're being asked to master in this particular moment, which feels very difficult. Or how about if you're organising an event? It might be online, it could be offline. And in this case, adding an element of astrology is exciting. It's surprising, the results that you can have with people when you're in a workshop, because they don't expect how exact sometimes astrology can be and how revealing it can be. And so if the participants are perhaps familiar with astrology or they're not, there's always something that they can get out of an astrology workshop that can be part of a bigger event. If you've seen some of my previous videos, you know that knowing something as simple as your moon sign can give you so much information, and it can actually get you back in touch with your intuition, with your soul. And it's very easy to understand. Even something as simple as sun sign astrology, knowing the core mission of your sun sign is something very simple that you can add to your workshop, to your retreat, that is really going to give some inspiration and some guidance to the people that are on that retreat. Finally, when you're at a crossroads, and that crossroads could be you're changing jobs, maybe you're starting or even ending a very significant relationship, you might be moving house, your children might be leaving home now that they're grown up. We come to many crossroads in our lives, and astrology has this way of indicating that crossroad and also describing the season of that particular crossroad. What are the energies that are most dominant at this time? Astrology gives you that backup of saying, yeah, I see you, I get you. Sometimes when we're at these important life transitions, then things can feel very confusing. And if the planet Neptune is involved, that's exactly how they're supposed to feel. But when we see the planet Neptune as an astrologer, we also know that there's something here about finding deeper meaning, of reconnecting to the soul's purpose, of those things that really bring you joy and that are perhaps more creative. Because when we're going through these transitions, then the energy can feel destabilizing, we can feel confused. Channeling that in a different way is what helps to get us through. Understanding what's happening in the sky and how it connects to your magical chart is like a cheat code. It actually helps you to focus your energy where it needs to be and helps you to see what you need to let go of. More than anything with astrology, with coaching, with any kind of therapy, it's really about how do you feel? Do you feel a calling to connect with a particular therapist? I really think it's important that we go with our intuition here and that we are not led down all of these different paths of all of these therapies and modalities that can help us, but really tune in to what we think will be most beneficial for us in the moment that we're going through. Yes, most people go to therapy when they're struggling with something, but what I've seen with my coaching program, for example, is that people come when they're ready to expand, when they're ready to really take their gifts and fly with them. And astrology can really help to hone in on those gifts and take them to new levels that actually resonate with the life's mission. If you're feeling a bit disconnected to your intuition, then definitely check out a video I did a little while ago about reconnecting to that intuitive voice. I think that's so helpful, especially in the noisy world that we're living in at the moment. So let me know in the comments. Have you had a reading? Are you thinking about having a reading? This is an exciting time to be alive, and I believe that astrology gives us a way of seeing the world with a whole new perspective. Thank you for watching.